Perfect. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. It's so great to be here today. Thank you so much for inviting us. First, I wanted to ask, is it okay if I share my screen? Is that all right? Okay, perfect, because we do have a presentation. So first off, I'll introduce myself. My name is Maisie Rising, and I am a program coordinator for something called the International Visitor Leadership Program, and in the Triangle area. My nonprofit again, international focus. Here we have Leila Bekri as well. Leila, maybe give a wave.
Good morning.
And she is the executive director of our organization. So we're going to tell you today a little bit about our organization and ways in which you can get involved. So I will start off by passing it off to Leila, who will give you kind of a broad overview, and then I'll tell you more specifically about the program that I'm responsible for and how you can get involved with it. And Leila, I was just going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay with you,
Absolutely.
and you can just tell me when to switch the slide. Okay, perfect. Give me 1 second here. Okay.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Well, thank you, Jill, for having us, and thank you for all the Rotarians present this morning. Yes, I'm with International Focus, and we are a non-profit organization that has been serving the community as the cultural and artistic bridge between the Research Triangle and the international community for 30 years. So we have long history in the Research Triangle area. So what we do and how we do it, we run what we call international exchange programs. We host about 25 program a year, international exchange program a year. We host about 200 leaders, global leaders that come to Raleigh through our partners who are the Department of State, USAID, Global Ties US, Open World, which is the congressional office. So our exchange program are about connecting global leaders to our community. So we build programs, professional and educational, where leaders in business, education, media, art come and exchange ideas, learn best practices, and stay connected. So this is one way we carry our mission through international exchange program. The other leg of the organization is our global events. So throughout the year, we host, I would say, 6 events. Some are called Coffee and Conversation, and this is a way for our community to connect. It's an informal setting with our visitor are here, just like to have this personal one-on-one connection with our visitors. Our other events are global social. Global social are quarterly events. Maybe Macy, later on, you're gonna probably give our October 30th event as a sample to introduce, this event. So through this partnership, I mean, this year we are looking at members to join our community and really help us promote the idea of diversity, in all its forms and shape and different, angles, how to connect, to understand other cultures, and really build long-term deep relationships through our exchange programs in our event. So this is a little bit about international focus. Of course, we're gonna I think, Macy, at some point you can share the slide with Gerald so you can have all the details about the
Mhm.
organization, but you can go ahead and uh, so our impact.
Yeah, I was gonna say these are kind of I know we don't have so much time here, so these are all on our website. We'll kind of quickly go through some of these slides. Um, and um,
And
do you want to talk about membership benefits at all?
yes. The good thing about this slide, Gerald, is you'll have an understanding of our, programs. We're not going to spend time explaining how every program runs, etc. But they have a common thread where they are hosted in Raleigh for a short period of time, 2 days to up to 3 weeks. And what's unique about International Focus is we rely on our members for home hospitality, meaning these international leaders will have a cultural experience with American families. Our membership is very diverse, and really it reflects the diversity of the research triangle, which is a great way for our delegation to have that local taste. So as a member, as a corporate member, you'll be helping us, taking care of our visitors when they're in town, for the cultural part. Um, Now for the membership benefit, we have three categories. Up to you to really think through this, but we have four major points as package benefits. The first one is subscription. We have two newsletter, unlike other organization. One is our office newsletter and a wrap up of what's going on through International Focus, our delegation, major announcement, etc. So it's a really typical standard newsletter. And we have what we call our signature cultural newsletter. And this is unique. It's a bi-monthly newsletter, and we showcase a country. We have been doing this for the past 3 years, and we focus really on teeny tiny countries that people do not, and know. Feature the geopolitical kind of context of the country, but also the fun part is exhibit their culture, their folk tradition in one segment, then the contemporary art, and also promote North Carolina art and artists. So this is what we do with the newsletter. We have nice videos, fun facts. So it has been really an education tool for International Focus these past 3 years. So if you have kids or students, and it's good to share that with your community. Now, the second point is, of course, access to our events. Most of our events, we are nonprofit, so we have membership events. Most of them are free and exclusive to our members, like the Coffee Conversation and Global Social. Every now and then during the year, we pick one event with ticketing, so you have either discounted ticket or early bird, the typical advantage for the newsletter. Third is attending our networking. So, of course, directly interact with our global leaders, which is phenomenal. I mean, this week we have a European delegation, and 6 or 7 countries are featured, from the European Parliament, and you name it. So it's great to have access directly to these leaders. Also, our community are kind of we have to profile people who miss traveling because they traveled a lot, or they had the experience when they were younger in age, right? And they miss it, so they found us. And we have other people who love to do it, and either at the time of their life or they cannot do it. So our events will cater to that need, meeting with community here, members that traveled and really connect each other. So that's the third thing. And of course, the recognition. We have a page called Network, and we will also cross promote you. So your link will be on our page with all our partners and members. So this is really a wrap up. I don't know what time is it, Macy.
Yeah, I think
Keep me
we
on
just have a
track.
few more minutes, so I can just go a little bit more specifically into my program and then tell you about some upcoming opportunities. So the International Visitor Leadership Program is just one of many exchange programs that we run here at our organization. And so this program is actually the oldest public diplomacy program in the United States, and it's sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. So how it operates is, oh, and I think just to mention, it started in like 1950 or something around then. Um, but it's sponsored by the US Department of State, and they work with embassies around the world to recruit emerging leaders and send them on professional exchange. It's usually around 3 weeks. They'll always stop in Washington, D.C., and then they go to three other cities. So it could be like Chicago, LA, Louisville, so sometimes Raleigh is selected. And so what they do in order to implement the program locally is they partner with a local nonprofit. So our nonprofit, International Focus, is responsible for that implementation in the Triangle area. Um, and we run programs monthly. So I would say usually ranges from, it could be 1 to 4 a month. And these emerging leaders are from various different industries. It can be really anything. I always like to tell people, since I started, I've had filmmakers from Ukraine, I've had journalists from Pakistan, we've had entrepreneurs, we've had African Union officials focused on medical regulatory compliance. Kind of, everything. And so um, while they're here, what they do is we match them with professional resources. So that's actually how I started getting to know Gerald, because I had a program that I felt like he was a great fit for. And I had met him once and I remembered, so I included him on the proposal for that project. And so how we match them with professional resources, it can be a couple of different ways. Either I do my research, I know that we have a program coming, and I do my research and I find a resource and reach out and see if they're willing and available to meet, or I just already know someone. So that's like our network of members, because they're in our realm, I usually know their professional background. And so, or sometimes we're even approached, someone says, we want to get involved, we would love to meet with a delegation if there's ever an opportunity. So that's kind of how it works. So you have the opportunity to act as a professional resource. And then the other opportunity is home hospitality, which is so much fun. Home hospitality, it's a really low commitment way to host international visitors in your home. It's just one evening, it's one dinner. There's actually, we have opportunities for homestays as well. So that is an option as well for some of our other programs that my colleague Maria runs. But for IVLP, it's home hospitality, just one dinner in your home. It's usually from like 6 to 8 p.m., 6:30 to 8:30, something like that. Um, and it's really just a nice way to engage with cultural exchange with international visitors. The visitors Uber to your house and back, so you don't need to worry about picking them up. And I want to show you just really quick. I love this quote. It's a story from one of our members, and I'll read it out loud. It says, newly married, we had limited resources to furnish our house. We found a dining room table for $8 at an old antique barn. We got it home and refurbished it. It has been moved 5 times during our 53 years of marriage. As an international volunteer host family, we have had hundreds of international visitors and friends from Afghanistan to Moldova seated for dinner at this rustic table. This table creaks and groans every time we sit down to eat. But even though we can easily afford a new one, we can barely part with this old friend and the fond memories of so many meals of hospitality and good cheer. So I feel like that really sums up the experience that you can have with our hosting. And I know that we're pretty much at time, but quickly, what I want to do is kind of the final. What we're going to end on is to just let you know that we have a global social coming up. It's on October 30th, and it's going to be hosted at a hotel. There's going to be refreshments. There's going to be a couple of cultural performances. And the biggest thing is a panel discussion with a delegation of international women leaders in STEM as part of a program called Hidden No More, Empowering Women in STEM. It's going to be a great night for like-minded individuals to come together and network and just have a great time. So it's great that that's coming up in just a few weeks, because if you want to get a taste of kind of what our organization is about, I'm going to drop the link for that in the chat. This one, as Leila mentioned, it actually is a ticketed event. We're putting more efforts towards raising funds for our programs, so all of that will go towards our programs. And it's discount for members, so it's $20 for members, $35 for non-members. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat. But otherwise, I think we're going about a minute over now. So thank you so much, Gerald. And we're also happy to take any questions if you have the time. But
Macy, we have John with us. Can we introduce John? He's part of the
Yes, please
team.
introduce John very quickly. Yes. While I get that link, Layla, you can go ahead.
Hi, I'm
John,
John.